The proven way to have your best year ever there is a simple truth that most people overlook. Your life does not change when the calendar changes. It changes when you change. A new year does not bring a new life. A new life is built by new decisions, new disciplines, and new direction. If you want to have your best year ever, you must begin with responsibility, not blame, not excuses, not waiting for the right time. The right time is always determined by action, not by the clock. The moment you take full responsibility for your life, you step into power, because now everything becomes possible. Your year will be shaped by your philosophy. What you believe about work, time, money, discipline, and growth will quietly design your results. If you think small, you will live small. If you think average, you will experience average outcomes. But if you begin to think in terms of growth, expansion, and possibility, your life starts to shift in that direction. The first proven principle is simple: set clear direction. Most people don't fail because they lack ability, they fail because they lack clarity. A drifting ship never reaches a desired destination. So ask yourself, what do I want this year to represent? What must I accomplish that would make me proud when the year ends? Write it down, not in your head, on paper, because a goal that is not written is only a wish. Now understand this: goals alone are not enough. Many people have dreams, but few have discipline. And discipline is what separates intention from reality. You do not need to feel motivated every day. You need to become reliable every day. Small, repeated actions done consistently build extraordinary results over time. Success is not one giant leap. It is a series of small, intelligent steps taken daily. Guard your time as if it is your most valuable currency, because it is. Every day you are either investing your time or spending it. And once spent, it never returns. The quality of your year will be determined by how you spend your ordinary days. Not your rare moments of inspiration, but your regular moments of decision. You must also understand the power of association. Your environment is silently shaping your expectations. If you surround yourself with people who complain, you will find yourself complaining. If you surround yourself with people who aim higher, you will begin to raise your own standards. Growth is contagious, but so is mediocrity. Choose carefully. Another proven truth: your income and success rarely exceed your personal development. If you want more, you must become more. Learn more, read more, think more deeply, improve your communication, strengthen your character. Because life does not simply reward desire, it rewards capacity. And here is the turning point most people miss: your emotions will try to negotiate with your discipline. There will be days when you do not feel like doing what you know you should do. That is the moment where your future is decided. If you obey feelings, you build inconsistency. If you obey principles, you build a life. Do not underestimate the compound effect of daily habits. 1 hour a day of focused effort becomes powerful over months. One positive decision repeated becomes a lifestyle. One shift in thinking becomes a new identity. Your year is not shaped in dramatic moments, but in quiet repetitions. And finally, understand this: you do not need a perfect year. You need a committed one. A year where you decide that growth is non-negotiable. A year where excuses are no longer acceptable. A year where you begin to respect your own potential enough to act on it. If you do this, if you take responsibility, set direction, act with discipline, guard your time, choose your environment wisely, and commit to becoming more than you were, you will not just have a good year, you will have your best year ever. Personal responsibility is the starting point of every meaningful transformation in life. It is the moment when a person stops looking outward for reasons and begins looking inward for answers. Most people live their lives reacting to circumstances, blaming their environment, their past, their upbringing, or even luck for where they currently stand. But the truth is simple and powerful: nothing changes until responsibility is accepted without conditions. When you fully accept responsibility, you stop giving away your power. You begin to realize that while you may not control everything that happens to you, you always control how you respond. And in that response lies your future. Two people can face the same situation, yet their outcomes can be completely different. The difference is not the situation itself, but the mindset each person brings to it. Taking responsibility does not mean blaming yourself for everything. It means acknowledging that you are the common factor in your life. If something is not working, the solution begins with you. If progress is slow, the adjustment begins with you. If opportunities seem limited, the search for new skills, new habits, and new thinking begins with you. This shift is not about guilt, it is about empowerment. Once a person adopts this mindset, life begins to change in a remarkable way. Instead of waiting for motivation, they create discipline. Instead of waiting for opportunity, they prepare for it. Instead of complaining about results, they start improving their actions. Responsibility turns a passive observer into an active creator of their own life. This principle is often uncomfortable at first because it removes excuses. Excuses feel safe because they protect us from accountability, but they also keep us stuck. Responsibility, on the other hand, may feel heavy initially, but it leads to freedom. Freedom to grow, freedom to change, and freedom to build a life that is not limited by past conditions. A responsible mindset also builds emotional strength. When you stop blaming external factors, you become less affected by them. Challenges no longer break you, they train you. Failures no longer define you, they refine you. Every setback becomes feedback instead of finality. This creates resilience, and resilience is one of the strongest qualities a person can develop in life. Ultimately, accepting responsibility is the foundation of self-respect. When you take ownership of your life, you begin to trust yourself more. You become someone who does not just dream, but delivers. You stop waiting for someone else to fix your life and start building it yourself, step by step, decision by decision. And that is where real transformation begins, not in changing the world around you, but in changing the way you respond to it. Clarity of direction is one of the most powerful forces in shaping a successful life, yet it is also one of the most overlooked. Many people move through their days with effort, but without true focus. They stay busy, but not necessarily productive. They work hard, but not always in a direction that leads to meaningful results. The difference between motion and progress is clarity. When you do not clearly define where you are going, every path looks acceptable in the moment. You make decisions based on convenience, emotion, or pressure instead of purpose. This is how people end up spending years working hard but feeling stuck. Life rewards movement, but it multiplies direction. Without direction, effort becomes scattered. With direction, effort becomes powerful. Clarity begins with a simple but profound act, deciding what you truly want. Not what is easy, not what is expected, and not what others are doing, but what genuinely matters to you. When you take the time to define your goals clearly, something changes internally. Your mind begins to organize itself around that vision. You start noticing opportunities you previously ignored, and you become more selective with your time and energy. A clear direction also brings emotional stability. Uncertainty creates confusion, and confusion creates hesitation. But when you know exactly what you are working toward, you gain confidence in your decisions. Even when challenges arise, you are less likely to lose focus because you understand that difficulties are part of the journey, not a reason to abandon it. Writing down your goals is a powerful extension of clarity. A thought in the mind is fragile, it can shift, fade, or be influenced easily. But a written goal becomes a commitment. It forces you to confront your intentions with honesty. It transforms vague desires into structured targets. When you see your goals in front of you regularly, they begin to influence your behavior in subtle but consistent ways. Clarity also improves prioritization. When your direction is defined, you can easily distinguish between what is important and what is simply distracting. Not every opportunity deserves your attention. Not every request deserves your time. A clear direction gives you the ability to say no without guilt because you understand that every no protects a more important yes. One of the greatest benefits of clarity is momentum. Once your actions align with your direction, progress begins to build on itself. Small wins lead to confidence. Confidence leads to consistency. Consistency leads to significant results. Without clarity, momentum is impossible because energy is constantly being redirected. It is also important to understand that clarity is not something you find once and keep forever. It is something you refine. As you grow, your understanding of your goals may evolve. What matters is not perfection in planning, but honesty in direction. Even a simple and perfect direction is far more powerful than no direction at all. Ultimately, clarity is the foundation upon which achievement is built. It turns confusion into focus, effort into progress, and dreams into structured reality. When your direction is clear, your path becomes simpler, your decisions become easier, and your life begins to move with purpose. Instead of uncertainty, discipline and consistency are the quiet forces behind every lasting achievement. While many people admire success, few truly understand the process that creates it. They often focus on talent, luck, or opportunity, but the real foundation is far simpler and far more demanding. The ability to do what needs to be done repeatedly, regardless of mood or circumstances. Discipline begins where emotion ends. It is the ability to act according to principle rather than feeling. There will always be days when energy is low, motivation is missing, and excuses feel reasonable. In those moments, most people slow down or stop completely. But the individual who is committed to discipline continues anyway. Not because it is easy, but because it is necessary. That is where separation begins between those who wish for success and those who build it. Consistency is the natural extension of discipline. One disciplined action may create a small result, but repeated disciplined actions create transformation. Consistency is what turns effort into progress and progress into achievement. It is not the intensity of a single day that shapes a life, but the repetition of ordinary days done well. Many people underestimate the power of small actions because they do not see immediate results. They want dramatic change, fast outcomes, and instant rewards. But real success rarely works that way. It is built quietly through habits that seem insignificant at first but compound over time. A single focused hour may not change your life today, but a series of focused hours repeated over months can completely reshape your future. Discipline also creates self-respect. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you strengthen your inner confidence. You begin to trust your own word. On the other hand, every broken commitment weakens that trust. Over time, your identity is shaped not by what you say you will do, but by what you actually do. A disciplined person becomes reliable in their own eyes, and that inner reliability becomes the foundation of outer success. Consistency requires patience, and patience is often one of the hardest qualities to develop. In a world that encourages speed and instant gratification, waiting for results can feel uncomfortable. But nature itself teaches us that growth takes time. Seeds do not become trees overnight. They grow slowly, invisibly at first, before they become strong enough to bear fruit. Human success follows the same principle. Another important truth is that discipline reduces decision fatigue. When you commit to consistent habits, you remove the need to constantly decide what to do next. You already know. You follow the system. This simplicity conserves mental energy and allows you to focus on improvement rather than constant decision-making. Structure creates freedom, not limitation. Ultimately, discipline and consistency are not about perfection. They are about direction. It is not necessary to be flawless every day, but it is necessary to stay committed every day. Even imperfect consistency is powerful because it keeps you moving forward. In the end, success is not built in moments of inspiration, but in moments of repetition. It is built in the quiet decisions to continue, to persist, and to show up again and again. Those who understand this principle eventually achieve what others only dream about. Growth and environment are two of the most powerful forces that shape the direction of a person's life, often in ways that are not immediately visible. Many people believe their success depends only on talent or effort, but in reality, who you become is deeply influenced by what you consistently expose yourself to mentally, socially, and emotionally. Personal growth begins with the understanding that you are not a fixed version of yourself. You are constantly becoming. Every day, your thoughts, habits, and decisions are either expanding your potential or limiting it. When you commit to growth, you accept that your current level is not your final level. This creates a mindset of learning, improvement, and curiosity. Instead of asking, "Am I good enough?" you begin asking, "How can I become better?" Learning is one of the most direct paths to growth. The more you learn, the more options you create for yourself. Knowledge expands your thinking, and expanded thinking leads to better decisions. Whether it is reading, observing successful people, practicing new skills, or reflecting on your experiences, growth happens when you actively seek to improve your understanding of life and yourself. However, personal growth does not happen in isolation alone. Your environment plays a silent but powerful role in shaping your mindset and standards. The people you spend time with influence what you believe is normal. If you surround yourself with negativity, complaints, and excuses, those patterns slowly become familiar to you. But if you surround yourself with ambition, discipline, and positive expectations, your mindset begins to rise to match that level. Environment is not only about people, it also includes what you consume daily, what you watch, what you listen to, and what you read. These inputs gradually shape your thoughts and emotions. A mind that is constantly exposed to low-value information will struggle to think beyond it. But a mind exposed to ideas of growth, success, and possibility begins to expand naturally. One of the most important decisions you can make is to consciously choose your influences. You cannot always control where you start in life, but you can control what you allow to shape your thinking going forward. This means being intentional about relationships, conversations, and content. Growth accelerates when your environment supports your goals instead of distracting you from them. Another key truth is that growth often requires discomfort. To become more than you are, You must be willing to let go of old habits, outdated thinking, and limiting associations. This can feel challenging because familiarity feels safe, even when it is holding you back. But real progress demands change, and change requires courage. As you grow, your standards naturally rise. What once felt acceptable no longer feels enough. You begin to expect more from yourself, not out of pressure, but out of awareness. This shift is what moves you from simply existing to actively improving. Ultimately, growth and environment work together to shape your future. Growth transforms your inner capacity, while environment influences your direction and speed. When both are aligned with your goals, progress becomes not only possible, but inevitable. The life you build is a reflection of what you consistently learn, believe, and surround yourself with. In conclusion, your future is not shaped by one single moment, but by a continuous process of growth and the environment you choose to live in. When you commit to personal development, you expand your thinking, strengthen your abilities, and open doors to new possibilities that were once invisible to you. At the same time, when you consciously select your surroundings, people, habits, and influences who protect your mindset and support your highest potential. True transformation happens when these two forces work together. Growth gives you the inner strength to rise, while a positive environment gives you the external support to stay consistent and focused. Without growth, potential remains unused. Without the right environment, even strong potential can be weakened or distracted. Therefore, if you truly want a better future, focus on becoming better and choosing better influences. Improve what you learn, improve how you think, and improve who you spend time with. Over time, these decisions shape not only your results, but also your identity. And when your identity is aligned with growth, success becomes a natural outcome rather than a distant goal.